Attention listeners, the MFAB podcast features adult language and numerous spoilers. Listener discretion advised.
Today on the MFAB podcast, we watch 1992's Dead Alive.
So let's pop some zits and eat some custard.
And enjoy the show. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Movies from A to B podcast, better known as the MFAB podcast.
MFAB.
As always, I'm Aaron.
And I'm Gavin.
Thank you once again for joining us today. I'm kind of at a loss for words on this one.
I knew you would be. I'm glad you just watched this recently, so.
Yeah, I am literally less than 20 minutes removed from watching this, so you are getting a very fresh take, listeners.
On a very amazing
Holy shit,
movie.
yeah. This is Gavin's pick this time around, a B-side week here.
B-side.
And boy, how did you keep this one from me for, 79 episodes? Jesus Christ.
I try to save them so I have good stuff to bring up,
Yeah. You got some good firepower to just hit me with?
Yeah, every now and then I just want to, baffle your fucking skull.
Well, you sure did a good job of that today, because today we watched 1992's Dead Alive, original title Brain Dead, for those, if you're listening in where this movie's actually from.
New Zealand?
We'll get to that in a second. It is, we'll get to that in just a second. It's directed by Peter Jackson.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson. This is going to be a very adventureful, wholesome movie.
Yeah. Yeah, filled with hobbits and dragons and stuff.
Yeah.
It stars Timothy Balme, Diana Peñalever, Elizabeth Moody.
She's a what lover?
Let's see if I can get some more. Ian Peñalever.
Sounds like
It's
you're saying.
Peña and then L-V-E-R at the end. I don't know. Something Hispanic. Also stars a couple other people: Ian Watkin, and let's see, Brenda Kendall, Stuart Devine, and the director himself. He's got a small role. So
He does do a bit part. Just a warning, fans
go ahead,
folks. Just a small warning. If you hear some little tings and dings, I'm currently in a project. Of dismantling all the hard drives I've ever owned in my entire life. So if that's hitting up in your ears, just so you know, I'm just unscrewing shit and tearing shit apart.
He's multitasking.
Got to keep the mind busy.
But as Gavin just previously mentioned, yes, and I think this is groundbreaking territory for us. This is originally, this was filmed in New Zealand, where Peter Jackson's from. So this is our first New Zealand / Aussie film, I guess.
We haven't done any Aussie films yet?
I don't think we have.
I know I have a few.
But I could be wrong. I'd have to go back in the old archives and see. But I feel like this is new territory for us. So
okay.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But yeah.
Email us at mfatpodcast@gmail.com, and you can yell at Aaron for being wrong if we have. Or you can yell at me if I'm just thinking we did do some shit that I don't remember.
Yeah. Yell at one of us.
Yeah, just email and yell at us. That's all we want.
I mentioned this to Peter Jackson. This is one of his very first few films, I take it, because Bad Taste was his first film, correct?
I think so. And then Meet the Feebles was either before or after that. I can't remember. Which I still haven't seen. I have a copy of it, but I've never watched it.
So before we even get into it, this is extremely far removed from the Peter Jackson that we know today. That has brought us Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit movies, King Kong. This is
Pan's Labyrinth, right?
Completely other side of the spectrum. No, that's Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, Guillermo del Toro,
believe.
yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but he has he's come a long way since this. So
I mean, I think he
just
went to the fucking brim to begin with, and absolutely fucking crush it.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see how I feel by the end of this. So, We'll give you a quick little synopsis of this movie if you're unfamiliar with it. IMDb's synopsis says, a young man's mother is bitten by a Sumatran rat monkey. She gets sick and dies, at which time she comes back to life, killing and eating dogs, nurses, friends, and neighbors.
Yeah, that about sums it up.
Yeah, and the most tamest way possible. Because there is a... we're just going to have to, just go into this and just don't look back. We'll get to the other side when we get there.
So, Aaron.
Yeah.
Did you have any preconceived conceptions going into this movie?
I just knew it was something to do with zombies, and I knew it was considered pretty gross. I had heard there's a couple scenes that, a lot of people who are squeamish couldn't handle. So, and
did you watch this with the girlfriend?
The cover art? No, she's working right now.
Okay.
So, this is definitely not something she would enjoy. I can tell you that much. So, but yeah, let's just get started on this. Our opening scene. This is kind of like a little foreshadowing to him doing King Kong, because they're on Skull Island.
100% is, yeah.
Sumatra. Yep. Just outside of Sumatra, we see some zoologist guy. I take it that's what he kind of was.
Yeah.
He was. He trapped a monkey, and they're trying to escape with it out of there. These. What would you call them? Indigenous people trying to stop him.
I love the dialogue. He's
And,
like, yeah, I got the vibes. The bad vibes. We need to go. This is very,
Yeah.
what am I thinking of? Indiana Jones, to me. This whole scene.
Yeah. Yep.
Until the end of this
definitely
scene.
This first scene. Oh, yes. He kind of takes off with this little crate that's got the rat in it. Similar to the Indiana Jones, start the plane, start the plane. He's yelling at the guys, start the truck, start the truck. As he hops in, has the crate. He gets bit by this monkey in this crate, and we hear the guide or whoever that was with him say, "You got the bite," which clearly isn't a good thing.
I love it when, in this beginning scene, when like the tribe confronted them at first, before they even got into the Jeep, and the zookeeper pulls out a fucking machine gun and just starts unloading, but hits nobody.
Oh, yeah.
Not a single fucking person died. They all just scatter. But yeah, he unloaded a fucking, half a fucking magazine. It was fucking hilarious.
Oh, yeah. And I love before that, he whips out a piece of paper. He's like, permit, see, I have a permit. Like, these fucking indigenous villagers give a fuck about your paperwork.
Exactly. It's like they've never seen paper before, probably.
Guides that he's with, they see his bite, and I can't think of what they actually said, but it sounded like they kept saying Zendaya, like
It was like
the
Zamundi
popular
or something.
actress nowadays.
The little bugger bit me. Singaya. Singaya!
Yeah, I heard Zendaya. Because he's got the bite from this monkey.
It was fucking hilarious too. This movie is just riddled with fucking amazing comedy. I'm just gonna throw that out there right at the beginning here. But they see his hand is bit, and they say, Zamunda or Zendaya or whatever the fuck, and they chop off the hand to, stop the bite, stop it from spreading, And then they see a cut on his other fucking arm, and they're like, Zendaya! Cut his other fucking arm off. And then fucking, they see one on the head, which is beautiful.
Yep. And they chop his head off, and that's, boom, where we get our title card. Nice blood drain over the screen as we see Dead Alive. And then the whole title credits giving us the monkey being shipped back to... I almost wanted to say the States, but no, it's being shipped back to New Zealand.
Which, oh my god, is this place not the most beautiful fucking place in the world?
Yes, it does look gorgeous.
I literally wrote down a couple times, I want to fucking move here and just live here.
Yeah, it is very picturesque down there. But I also had to think, too, the crate that they're shipping this monkey in, no way that's postal safe.
I don't
No
think they're
fucking
going
way
to
that
the post
survives
office, dude.
being shipped. Well,
They
yeah.
threw it in a fucking plane and like flew it to a zoo. That is not the post office.
Yeah, they did pay. They did pay off the pilot, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and they got paid
true.
for the monkey. So,
Anyways, after the credits are passed, we meet one of our main characters here, working at a grocery store. Her name's Paquita.
Paquita.
She's Hispanic. She has a
Or
thing for this
Spanish.
delivery guy, Roger. Spanish, Hispanic, Latin, whatever. Her grandmother gives her a tarot reading, tells her that the Starman is coming, but he brings... There's a card that said oppression, but she was like, nah, we don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, just don't look at that one. It's fine.
Nope. And at that time, this clumsy guy comes into the store, and this is our main protagonist, Lionel.
Lionel Trains.
He kind of... No way is that his fucking last name.
No, it's not, but I just like saying it.
Okay. I'm gonna see if they even give him a last name. Yeah, Cosgrove.
Yeah, Cosgrove.
Cosgrove, okay. I'm gonna say if his last name was Trains, I would laugh. at
Yeah,
that.
because his mom is Vera
Anyways.
Cosgrove.
Yeah. He clearly has like a little crush on Paquita, so he's pretty clumsy, and he knocks some shit over, and then it's in the shape of a star. And Paquita's like, oh no, this is the man that's in the cards for me. And he just kind of books it out of there, goes back home. We meet his mother, Vera, as Gavin said, and she's a kind of a bitch.
She's a major controlling bitch. That's exactly what I wrote.
Yeah,
He's a
she
mama
is
boy and she's a bitch.
Oh yeah. Paquita brings the delivery to the house. She asks Lionel out on a date. She wants to go to the zoo. So
And she did that at sly as fuck. I'm just saying right now,
Oh, yeah.
if you're a chick, you can easily like talk someone into fucking going on a date with you just by doing exactly what she did.
yeah. Oh yeah.
She
She's
just
got the
says
riz.
zoo a few times, and then he's like, "You want to go to the zoo?" And just asking her if she wants to go to the zoo, not with him, but just if she wanted to go there. And she's like, "Oh yeah, you'll take me."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She was
She's
pretty
got
pimp in
riz
that
for
scene.
days. I'm so
Funny
glad you're
story.
not mad at me for saying riz.
Dude, okay. Funny story about that.
Yeah.
I was at a Quick Trip, and if you live in, I don't know, I'm pretty sure they're worldwide now. Quick Trip, it's a gas station,
Yeah.
and fucking, they had signs outside that say, "Our chicken slaps," and "Our chicken has riz." The only thing I could think to myself was, I don't want to be slapped by chicken, and I
No.
definitely don't want any riz on my chicken. It's the worst fucking promotional thing ever.
Yeah, that's kind of bad. Gavin, we're definitely not Gen Zers. Do you know what riz means or where it comes from?
It's charisma.
Charisma. Okay.
That's the
You're
gist
not
of
that
it,
far
I
out of
think.
the loop then. Okay, cool. Yeah,
I want to
no,
think
you're
that's
right,
what it
yeah.
is, but
Yeah, it is. You're correct. But yeah, back to the story at hand here. So they go on this zoo date. One thing I noticed right off the bat here, Peter Jackson loves his close-up shots.
he does, and I point that out later in my notes, but
Oh my god.
I fucking love it. Especially later in the movie when there's these like close-up zooms, and there's just a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's almost Sam Raimi-esque, or yeah. It's almost like that, but it's different.
I gotta say, I wasn't the biggest fan of it.
Okay.
It felt like too much close-up zooms. So
You got to remember these are some of his first films too.
right, correct, yes. So when they're at the zoo, Lionel kind of mentions the story of how his dad died and why he's kind of afraid of water. His dad drowned when he was little, and they go see the monkeys, and then
The fucking best monkey ever is this Sumerian fucking rat monkey.
the Sumatran rat monkey or whatever. Yeah, they share a little kiss, And then we see this rat monkey. It's really good stop motion, or not? Is it claymation or stop motion? I want to get it right.
Stop motion. It's like Ray Harryhausen.
Stop motion. Okay.
Fucking style. It's beautiful.
Okay. This Sumatran rat monkey. It's just a giant rat. There's not
Pretty
really
much,
much
yeah.
monkey about it. It's just a giant rat. It's vicious as fuck. It attacks the other monkeys, rips an arm off.
Was it an arm or was it a tail?
It was a limb of some sort.
Okay,
It
I
might have
wasn't
been
sure
the
if it
tail,
was just
actually,
a
now you
tail.
say that, yeah.
But the best part
Yeah.
is one of the zookeepers comes up and he starts talking about him. He's like, yeah, they got to the island. They're only found on this one island, and they got there over ships, and the rats are so big from eating stuff on the ship, they got off and just started raping the monkeys.
Oh, yeah, that's right. While he's explaining that, blood's pouring out of the tail all over Paquita's shoes, too.
Yeah.
That was gross. But Lionel's mom is there, and she's spying, and she gets bit by the rat monkey, and she stomps its head with her heel, just squishes the fucking life out of its head. We're gonna mention it a lot more, but this is kind of the precursor. The practical effects in this movie are some of the most outstanding I've ever seen.
Right? 100%. Like, I agree. I love it.
Yeah, and yeah, this is just the. I can't even say the tip of the iceberg.
No, I'm
because
sure this is going to be like
just-
the only like gross thing that happens in the movie.
Yeah,
the rest will
right,
be, you know,
yeah.
just a love story with a occasional zombie drop in.
But yeah, she ruins Lionel's date, like the Do I want to say the C word? Yeah. Well, this is a New Zealand film. Yeah, they use the word like the cunt
Oh.
she is. Back at home, Paquita comes to visit at night. She kind of sneaks up on Lionel's balcony.
Okay, yeah. Hold
He
on.
kinda shoots her
Stop,
down.
Stop. Okay. Who the fuck has a ladder from the ground going up to your balcony?
Good point. On the side of the house too.
Yeah, it was like so easily accessible. I've seen a million balconies on a million different buildings. I've never seen one with like a hatch and a fucking ladder going straight up into it.
Maybe it's a New Zealand thing, but yeah, now you say that. Can't say I've
good.
ever seen it
Good
around
point.
here. Yeah. But yeah, she comes up. She kind of says like, you know, you're the guy that we're romantically entangled, and then he kind of shoots her down, but then he like tells her to wait, and they kiss and they bang. But during the night, Mom's not doing so hot. He goes to change her bandage in the morning, and what the fuck happened to the bite on her arm?
I don't know. It's like a
I don't even know how to
fucking-
describe it.
it's like a
It-
butthole with a hemorrhoid like chilling in the middle.
Yeah, and it's got a pussy heartbeat, and yeah, ugh, gross.
God, I can't wait for dinner after this.
But Mom was expecting some visitors because she just got into this prestigious club or some bullshit. But she's falling apart, literally. Like he tries to put some makeup on her, and her skin just like flops off. Again,
Straight
just
up
practical
grabs
effects.
a bunch of super glue and puts it back together.
Yeah.
And
He
then
does a
dresses
pretty
her
good
up.
job too, actually.
Yeah, and he dresses her up in horror makeup.
Yeah, he does. They go down. They have a meal. The husband of this lady that's there, he's quite the character. She's all like, what we need is this, and we need this, and he's like, what we need is another war.
What we need is another war!
Have you had any thoughts on the agenda for the annual meeting?
What we need's another war.
Yes, dear.
Like, where did that fucking
Calm
come
down,
from?
sir. I don't know.
I think they were talking about bettering the town, and suddenly he's like,
Yeah.
fucking World War II! Let's do it again!
Yeah. He goes to bring dessert, and it's this custard, and he sets it on the table, and this guy, he's so excited. You know, he's pretty misogynistic.
He hasn't had
My wife
custard in
never
years."
makes custard no more. No. and he takes a bite. It's really good, and then Mom's pussy bite squirts pus into his custard, and he eats it,
Wait.
and it's fucking gross.
I wrote down, dude eats pustard.
Pustard? Oh my god! Why did I say? How did I not call it pustard? That is so good. it's literally what it is. Oh, and he just eats it up, and then Mom's ear falls off into hers, and she eats her own ear. And
Which is all normal.
it's very normal. It's gross, and I want to give credit to the practical effects. Now, Gavin, since you've made films, I want to give credit to the right people. There's the people that actually design the props that you see. Does practical effects include the Foley artists that make the noises?
Well, that's usually sound design.
Sound design? Like, they go hand in hand, right?
Well, yeah, one has to work off the other to... A Foley artist is someone who just watches, the film and adds in the gross sounds.
Gotcha. Because, whoever did the sound design on this gets a lot of credit, because all these scooshes and splooshes and glops and grunts and gurgles are just gross, and they did a phenomenal job of it. So,
Like I said, I have never been hungrier than watching this movie.
yeah, no, definitely not. So anyway, after the pustard dessert, Paquita tells Lionel that the cards said that her grandma said there's these dark forces attached to you. They hear something upstairs. Paquita had her dog there with her, who was a German Shepherd, pretty big dog.
Yeah. Good
And
boy,
they go
doggo.
upstairs to see that Mom has ate it,
Which is
as he
horrifying.
pulls like
She didn't eat all of it.
tail. Yeah, she splattered the rest of its corpse around the room like a maniac. At this point, they call a nurse, which seems a little late, but nurse comes in. She's like, well, pack a bag, we're going to take her to the hospital. But Mom kind of dies, which at that point I was like, oh, thank God she's dead. Whew,
You
Lionel,
knew it
you
was
can
a
run with
zombie
your life.
movie.
Yeah, I know. But she like instantly comes back to life quick, rips the fuck out of this nurse's head off.
The fucking effects on this are fucking amazing. Because this is where
we can't.
she sticks her hands like in her face and then fucking like pulls her head completely backwards.
Yeah, but doesn't rip it off. Like nearly headless nurse. We'll call her that. Like nearly headless Nick from Harry Potter. This is nearly headless nurse.
Pretty much.
Because her head's it flops back, and gross too. So now we have zombie mom and zombie nurse. Lionel tosses him in the basement. I had to note, Paquita seems pretty calm, seeing
Well,
as
she
her
hasn't seen
dog
any
just
of
got
this shit.
mutilated
Oh, okay.
and eaten.
Yeah. Fair enough.
There's not an ounce of terror on her face.
I
She's
mean,
like,
people
"Oh,
eat
where's your
dogs
mom?"
all the time, just different countries.
Okay, yeah, you're true.
No,
there.
I think they just banned it where they used to do it.
Oh,
There was
did
a
they?
festival. I remember listening to something where they talked about that.
Yeah. I can't think of what country that is, but I know what you mean.
It's one of
So
them.
yeah, Lionel goes to the vet. It's this creepy. He says, I heard him say from Latvia, but he sounds German.
No, he's 100% a Nazi. That's what I wrote down.
Yeah. And he's very creepy. And Lionel wants some sedatives, to which this guy says, I believe, sedatives? I do not have sedatives, but I have tranquilizers.
I just want to buy some sedatives.
What do you think I am? A goddamn doctor? I don't sell sedatives. Tranquilizers, I do have.
To which he gives him the biggest fucking bottle of tranquilizer, with it clearly stated over the front, tranquilizer, that I've ever seen in my entire goddamn life.
It's just that cartoony, like, jug of whiskey, but it's tranquilizers, you know? It felt, like, very Looney Tune-esque. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it said Acme above it.
Yeah, right.
He heads back to home, goes to the basement, he tranks up the mom and the nurse. It actually works. They get kind of knocked out. He goes to talk to Paquita about these dark forces. She tells him that he's been marked, and the grandma gives him this big-ass cross moon chain for protection.
It was at this point I wrote down that I fucking love the quick zooms. Because there's a lot of them during this scene.
Oh, yeah. They're all over this movie. While he's at the supermarket, Mom escapes, comes, finds him, and she gets hit by a trolley car and dies.
Yeah.
And it's seen in front of a bunch of people, so they gotta have a funeral for Mom. This is where we meet, Paquita meets him first, the Lionel's creepy uncle. Yeah. Which I wrote down later. Did he give you Trump vibes?
Ew.
He kind of looked like him. He kind of looked like him.
Yeah. That's gross.
And he was a giant. He was a giant piece of shit, so it fits, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't get political though. So, but we cut to the embalmers or whoever's preparing the body, and what the fuck was going on there?
They were pumping it with way too much embalming fluid.
Yeah, but that was like the most wackiest, zaniest embalming fluid I've ever seen.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is like a horror comedy, but it's more like a horror comedy, I guess.
Lionel goes to the casket where Mom is. He starts taking the screws out, but Mom bursts out from inside of it. She attacks Lionel, and they bust through and in on the funeral.
You realize how every time he tranks her in the exact same spot? Like right in the fucking nose into the brain?
Yeah, right through the fucking nose. And again, just the sound, the oozes and gushes when he does that is just top-notch and gross. This is where Uncle Creepy, he hears about Lionel getting the house and all the money, and you can tell he's just a sleazeball.
Yeah.
So they
see what happens next, though.
They bury the mom.
In this part, I don't understand why the fuck did he go back to dig her up? Why not just leave her buried?
Yeah. He does a lot of questionable shit in this movie. I think I did have to write that. I'm like, why did you go back to the cemetery to dig her up? Because when he's there, there's this gang of, I don't know, greasers, ruffians, whatever you want to fucking call
hooligans.
them. We should point out this movie's kind of set in the 50s, so everybody's got like a very 1950s vibe here. They're like, oh, look at this creep, robbing graves, you know, and they beat him up, and they, the one guy pisses on Mom's grave.
They're gonna rob him and shit.
And as he's peeing on Mom's grave, he gets a good old zombie hand job.
I don't think
Mom.
It was a hand job, Aaron. I think he might have got ripped off.
Yeah, she was doing something with it. But
I doubt she was going to pleasure him.
He was doing some thrusting motions on top of the grave there.
She immediately killed him. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But this is where like we really start to ramp up some of the gore, because holy blood, like a lot of blood. Yeah. But the pastor, the father, I guess, he hears some screams, and two of the best quotes from this movie, I'm going to say both of them because they kind of go one back to back, and maybe I'll include them in the episode so you can hear them. The first one, he jumps up and he says, "This calls for some divine intervention."
Evil is amongst us. Stay back, boy. This calls for divine intervention.
And then he starts to beat up these punks, to which he says, "Gavin, I'll let you take this one."
I kick ass for the Lord!
Yes.
I kick ass for the Lord.
This is the best fucking fight scene in a comedy zombie movie I have ever.
Oh my god. This priest proceeds to beat the shit out of these guys. And I just had to write down, get some, father. Like, Kung Fu
shit.
Master Priest. Like,
It's great because, oh fuck, there's the one dude, the blonde dude, the punk greaser dude who fucking, at one point he gets his arm grabbed, the priest kicks him in the face like 30 fucking times, rips his arm off, and then starts beating on another guy, comes back to him, grabs his other arm, kicks him in the face another 30 fucking times, rips that arm off, goes back to fighting the other fucking zombies, comes back and fucking sweeps his legs out from under him, literally, like tears them off of his entire fucking body.
it's fucking epic.
It's amazing.
But he does meet an untimely demise, though, as he gets impaled on a gravestone that is like pointing up to God. He just crashes right down on it, so he's a zombie.
Who has
now.
that like Freddie Mercury fucking tombstone?
Yeah. Lionel takes these guys all back home, tranks them up, and he kind of makes them a trank breakfast of eggs and tranquilizer.
This whole scene is just like fucking zombie daycare.
Disgusting. It's disgusting.
Well, that too, but it's straight up like,
the-
yeah, zombie daycare is what I got.
It is, yeah. They're toddlers almost. Like the nurse starts to eat, but her head's severed, so it starts oozing out of her neck, and it's just gross. And then the pastor tries to finger her under the table, and she's all about it. And
Yeah, they're zombies.
Lionel's got to be like, no, knock it off. And that's when Uncle Creepy shows up. The nurse and the pastor start getting it on, but why did we need the POV of the uncle taking a piss like that?
I don't know. I was wondering. I mean, who walks into a house and goes straight into the fucking bathroom without closing the fucking door and just lets it go?
Right. But we didn't need that camera angle. And why does he pee like that too? Like, did you catch that too? Right,
Yeah.
where he's like,
Where he grunted. Yeah. It's like he passed a fucking kidney
"What
stone.
is wrong with you, dude?" Yeah. But the pastor and the nurse start banging, and the uncle hears it, and Lionel tries to stop him.
Did you find your dad's old stag films? Is that the one with the donkey and the headmistress?
Yeah, so disturbing.
The weirdest part is the uncle is like super like interested in going in and watching porno with his fucking nephew.
Yeah, this dude is. I call him Uncle Creepy. His name's Uncle Les, but it's Uncle Creepy.
Nah,
This dude
straight
is
up Uncle
creepy. Yeah, and Lionel takes everybody back down to the basement, but the nurse gets pregnant really fast as we start to see her
Yeah.
belly grow.
Everybody knows that zombies get pregnant really fucking fast.
Yeah.
And they're all fucking cum dumpsters, so...
Paquita goes and confronts Lionel. He kind of tells her, like, I can't see you anymore, but then he tries to go back and talk to her, and she's all mad, and Roger shows up and punches him, and... Yeah.
I love that scene because he's like at the bus stop and she sees him and then the bus rolls by and he's gone. So you think like he did earlier in the movie, he like jumped on the bus just by grabbing it or one of the trolleys or whatever the fuck. But then the car next to it like rolls off and he's just like ducked down hiding like straight out of fucking
Just
Looney Tunes.
Yep. That's perfect. He comes back home and meets the new addition to the zombie family. This maniacally creepy looking baby that already has pajamas. Or no, not
Yeah.
at this point. No, never mind. I take that back.
Oh yeah, true.
It doesn't, because he pulls it out and he puts it in pajamas because he takes it for a stroll. And all I have to say is, why?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Why? This
Why?
is the day, our baby's day out, like, fucking movie. It's straight up like a comedy bit. I love it. It's just so fucking goofy. And
How much of Jackass did you used to watch back in the day?
I didn't really watch the show all too much, but I did watch, like, 2 of the movies, I think.
Okay. They did several skits where they would take a stroller and a doll, or one of them was a bike and a seat in the back, and they would just go out in public, and then they would purposely like fall or trip on top of the baby and just see what people would do. They would basically look like they crushed their baby. This reminded me of that because he doesn't know how to push a stroller.
At one point, he literally beats this baby in front of, like, a bunch of fucking people.
Yeah. I have that written down. He just beats it ass at this park. And for like, although this scene is pretty funny and awesome, but it just why did he take it out? What was
There's no
for
reason
what?
for it.
Yeah.
Same reason he went back to the graveyard to dig up his mom. Like, if you could have just left her there, she may have busted out, but then it's somebody else's problem at that point. You know?
Yeah. He's just not the brightest guy. Meanwhile, while he's out, he sees Paquita and Roger together. Makes him a little sad. But the uncle at home sees the zombies. And did his face get some herpes on it?
Like, progressively throughout the movie, his face gets gnarlier and gnarlier. It's like he just keeps growing these, like, fucking pussy, like, wounds all over his face.
Yeah. And he kind of strong-arms Lionel into giving him the house and the money, to which the uncle returns the favor by having a big-ass party. And makes Lionel make snacks and drinks, you know, because Lionel's a little pussy.
Yeah, if I was Lionel at that point, I would have just fucking dipped.
But Lionel has no spine. He's a little bitch. Uncle Creepy wants the zombies gone, though. Paquita's walking by, though. She sees the party. She comes in to check it out. Immediately gets, greeted by Uncle Rapey. We're going to call him Uncle Rapey at this point.
I love it how she completely, like, 100% just ditched the guy she was with just because she saw a party going on.
Yeah. And
kind of a cunty move.
He's just like, oh well. He just kind of looks around and is like, alright, whatever. And just keeps going.
He sounded kind of boring. He was always talking about football and shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she heads down to the basement, and she kind of gets attacked by the zombies down there. Lionel saves her. At this point, they discover they had some poison?
Yeah, they decide to poison him, which is interesting because I don't think you can kill a zombie with poison. But who also has a bottle that just has literally the skull and crossbones with the word fucking poison in their basement?
Again, it's that Looney Tunes comically large size just jar. It's fucking funny. I literally wrote down, like, I doubt that'll work. Like, they're zombies. What's poison going to do to them?
But it does work, Aaron.
It clearly... Yeah, it does. Because they bury them in the basement.
Yeah. You can't just go out and bury 4 bodies, like, elsewhere. You risk getting busted.
They head back upstairs, like, everything's all hunky-dory. Lionel finally seems to grow a pair and punches his uncle. But Uncle Creepy's like 3 times his size and tosses him right back into the basement. Which,
That's where you see the fucking bottle of poison on the ground, and it rolls around, and it's like, it's actually animal stimulant, not good for humans. Don't ingest, you know?
Yeah.
Fucking most cartoony shit ever.
These zombies literally burst forth from the fucking dirt and go attack the party. And
everything from this point on is an absolute fucking rampage. Splatterhouse.
It is a gore...
Yeah, gorefest.
It's a gore fest for like the next 30 minutes of this film. And like we can only say so much about it because this is so visually stunning. I mean, we'll highlight some of the more fun and memorable parts, but it is in fucking sane how gory this movie gets.
Quick.
we have done gory movies in the past. We've done Ichi the Killer. Existence was kind of gory. What's another one? Like some of the Evil Dead movies. This, I think, is by far the goriest movie we've done.
I think it could be too, actually.
Yeah. I mean, Machine Girl was gory. Tag was sort of gory.
Tag! Good
yeah.
point. Tag
Good.
was pretty fucking gory.
Yeah.
Especially that first opening scene.
Yeah. That opening scene, yes. So,
Go back and listen to
this
our
is
episode
just-
with Tag in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I forget about that movie, and then it pops into my mind like, oh yeah, that was interesting.
We watched that thing.
Yeah.
I watched it twice.
So it's a
First
zombie
thing-
party now.
Yeah, first thing I'm going to point out is the fucking punch through the goddamn head. You have this chick
Yes.
screaming, and suddenly a fist comes straight through her fucking mouth from the back of the head. It is one of the most masterful cut shot scenes I've ever seen. It's so fluid and beautiful. I almost shit myself every time I see it.
Oh my god, that was fantastic. And like the zombie walks around with this other zombie as a puppet, almost like a hand puppet, because its fist is stuck in its head. It kind of turns into a Lionel and Paquita just trying to escape, getting out of there. And Uncle Les, or Uncle Creepy, he starts fighting zombies too. The teeth pulling, oh my god, that is so cringy.
Yeah, that kind of bothered me a little. Not as much as the scene of him just with the cleaver and the other fucking knife, and he just starts going to town.
Oh, when he got really stabby? Yeah.
Yeah.
He was letting out some pent-up aggression there. That was pretty insane.
I mean, he went absolutely
other one-
batshit insane.
Yeah. You like the fist through the mouth. I loved when the zombie got put on the light bulb.
Yeah, that was another
And
good
then
one.
the light turned on. That was good.
And I love how it just keeps being there. It's just stuck there, and its head is still lit up.
Yeah.
It's just fucking constant. It's always in the background in that scene, in that area of the house.
Yeah. The innards that come to life. And it's the butthole, right? That turns into the face of this dude's innards.
Yeah, it is.
Because it farts at one point.
Yeah, it looks at itself in the mirror thinking farts.
All this madness is going on. It's just kind of a fight for survival. Lionel finds the cross moon chain, and it kind of points him to this chest that is hidden upstairs in the attic.
Which had the stag film
Meanwhile-
in it.
Yes, the creepy pictures of this dad feeding the hot dog.
Well, no, that wasn't. The first thing he pulls out of that trunk is the film reel, and that's, I'm assuming, supposed to be
Yeah.
one of his dad's old stag film stash.
Oh yeah, it's gotta. But also in this trunk are those pictures I mentioned, and there's a skeleton in there too.
Yeah.
And this is where Lionel kind of has an epiphany. He remembers. He's got repressed trauma that comes back. He remembers something.
Yeah.
All the while, this
What do you remember?
fucking terrifyingly maniacal baby is running around. I don't know what bothered me most about that movie, but that baby really fucking bothered me.
It was a creepy little fucker. I mean, but it was also
Oh my
very,
God, it's-
comedic.
Yes, but absolutely terrifying. At one point, Paquita and this other girl, Rita, they help the uncle get back into the house. And I'm like, why are you helping this fucker?
Which I really don't understand why they did that.
Yeah. No, leave him out there. Leave him to fucking die. Fuck that guy. Lionel, busts through the ceiling. He's, caught by some electrical wire. He's hanging above the party. He manages to save Paquita at one point. After Uncle Creepy gets all stabby, like we had mentioned. he meets who we haven't seen in a while because Lion, or no, not yet. We meet Mom briefly.
I think you mean Super Mum.
Big Mom, Big Mama. It's Big Mama's house now.
Yeah.
He gets just. I guess we haven't mentioned it yet. He's taken about a bajillion crotch shots in this movie too. The uncle.
Like, most of them are from the baby, too.
Yeah. And then Big Mama here just uppercuts him in the junk. And
At this point, I just wrote down so much fucking gore.
yeah,
So
so
much
much
gore.
gore. And this is where it literally becomes... There's no words to describe this, what happens next, because Lionel comes into the party with a mower, and he says, "Party's over," and starts the mower and just goes through all these zombies, just cutting and tearing.
Party's over.
My favorite part of this scene is this is a good, like, 5-minute scene of, like, just cutting up fucking zombies with a lawnmower and him,
Yeah.
like, slipping through blood, wackiness ensuing. But the best part is when he gets all the way through them and he turns around and there's just, like, this line in between the zombies, like he had mowed a lawn. And just in the middle of the lawn, just one straight line. It's beautiful.
Yes. And dare I say, the best fucking lawnmower that money could buy.
Oh, there was one scene where he's holding it up where you can tell, like, it's clearly the prop lawnmower, where it's super fake looking, and then it cuts back to a different scene.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's-
Yeah. But, like, you know, nothing runs like a deer. Like, this mower, like, I need a mower like this. Nothing is gunking it up. I mean, it does after a while, but after he's cut up, like, 800 zombies, of course, it's going to gunk up a little bit, but...
Yeah. And this is some of the comedy that I just fucking love. Especially, there was a scene earlier where he, like, lands in the middle of a bunch of zombies and he goes to run away, and there's, like, a 2-minute scene of him, like, running and slipping in blood.
In the blood, yeah. He just can't move,
like, straight up a
people are
Looney
gonna
Tunes cartoon.
Like, he's stuck on ice. And he's just in one place.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was funny. Paquita and this other girl, Rita, they're in the kitchen, and this fucking baby just alien
this
chest
is fucking
burster
great.
fucking bursts from Rita's head.
I wrote down,
Oh my god.
fucking baby mech suit. He rode that bitch like a fucking mech
Yes.
suit. It was beautiful.
Yes, he did. But he gets electrocuted, fired, like the baby gets pretty much fried up at that point. And after Lionel's done literally mowing down all the zombies and leaving the house covered in blood, guts, viscera, just gore out the ass, he says, "Haven't seen Mum yet."
No. You just get out of here.
What?
Haven't seen Mum yet.
And that's when I literally
That-
have written down, oh Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
That, Aaron, my friend, is tits.
Yeah, right underneath, oh
That's a
Jesus
point.
Christ, what the fuck? Hang on. Right underneath, oh Jesus Christ, what the fuck? I have written, I don't wanna, but damn it, +1 for boobs. Oh my
I'm
god.
so glad.
You can't even begin to describe the monstrosity that what this creature is, that is Mom.
Yeah.
And Lionel and Paquita climb up to the roof to try and escape it. Like, Mom's like 10 times her size at this point, and it's just this, again, amazingly practically created giant naked woman. That's just gross. Ugh. They're up to the roof, and finally, he's got the balls to stand up to his mom. He confronts her about, my father didn't drown, you killed him, and his lover.
And his mistress.
And he saw it, yeah. And they kind of do a little cutscene of her drowning his dad in the bathtub. And you're just like, damn, this shit got real.
The fucked up part is he was just sitting there watching it.
Like, traumatized. Like, and mom literally sucks him back into her womb.
Yeah, she does. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. I'm glad they went with the stomach and not like just a crazy big vagina.
Yeah, I feel like that was probably written in the script, and somebody was like, we need to stop before we get an X rating. So, and Paquita's just like, no, but then Lionel has that cross moon thing, and he bursts free from his mom's gut, and just covered in... I don't know how he was able to breathe and under all this gore. Like, props
knows,
to the
man.
guy who played Lionel. Yeah, like, it was fucking insane. He bursts free with the chain, and mom dies, and fire department shows up and starts putting out the fire.
House
The
burns
baby's
down.
still fucking alive, too. You saw that,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
yeah. I was like, how did nobody kill this fucking baby? Yeah, the house burns
Well, it was
down.
wearing a fucking mech suit.
That's true. Paquita and Lionel, they're all covered in blood and guts. They share a kiss, and they walk off into the sunset. Happily ever after.
The
And
end.
we get credits. That's Dead Alive, or Brain Dead.
Yeah. So you get to go first.
I will share my thoughts on this. All right. This movie started kind of slow. Like, it had that... Like, I told you, I'm not a huge fan of all the close-ups they did. Like, this... it reminded me very, very much. Like, you could clearly tell this drew some inspiration from Evil Dead. There's a Sam Raimi touch on this film, and you can see it from all these zoom, quick cuts, close-ups. Like, it's there. You can definitely tell the inspiration. I just think the close-ups were way overdone. I wasn't a huge fan of that. But my God, the wackiness and the creativity behind the gore and kill scenes and just everything in this movie was fucking incredible. Like, it won me over. The first half of this movie, I was like, I'm not really digging this. It's slow. Like, the gore's just gross. And then a switch just gets flipped, and it gets ramped up to 11, and like, you're invested. There's just so much happening. It was so good. And with the +1 for the boobs, I landed on a 8 out of 10 pustards.
Holy shit. That is fucking awesome.
I wasn't gonna give this a good rating. Like, the first half of this movie, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm sick of these close-ups. Like, not much is happening. Like, I get it. They're gonna be zombies. Like, what's going on here?
See, the thing is, Aaron,
First-
is it's like a Pixie song. It starts out low, and it just kind of builds and builds and builds until you got that
And
fucking...
Yeah, it builds, and you just... Like I said, it won me over. This was a really, really entertaining, good movie. Like,
Nice.
bravo to Peter Jackson to, like, come from this, which is good, and turn it into what he's become too. This is a really good movie. I will definitely recommend this if you don't mind being grossed out and zany horror. Like, if you are a fan of the Evil Dead movies, you'll like this movie.
Yeah. Like,
it's right.
100%,
It's
you
right
know?
alongside of those. Yeah, it's right alongside of those. It's very good. So, yeah, that's where I
Okay.
landed.
For me, I am. Well, like I said, wow. I'm surprised you went as high as you did. I love the gore in this. It's so disgusting, and it's so like that gross neon pink like color that turns your stomach. It's like not natural, and that's
Yeah.
one thing I love about it. And it has such a unique story that there's no other movie that I can think of that has like this type of situation where we're getting like. I mean, I'm sure there is. Everything's been done, right? But
Yeah,
at its time in 1992, this is a very unique fucking thing. And it's Peter Jackson, which just fucking fried my head when I fucking originally found out that it was Peter Jackson. And this story is absolutely fucking insane. And the whole movie is just fucking funny. It comes together nicely. It ends in this big, like, massive 20-minute fucking fight scene that is just everything I wanted it to be, you know?
yeah.
It's one of those that I'm glad I stumbled upon many years ago.
Sure.
So I landed on an 8 out of 10.
Oh
8
wow!
out
Look
of
at
10
that.
Rat monkeys. Yeah.
Nice. I feel like that's the first time in a while we've been dead on, like same rating. So that's pretty
I think so
awesome.
too. That's why I
Yeah.
said wow. I was like, oh shit. I wasn't expecting you to go that high. But then I remember you also like Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter, so
Yes. Yeah. This is. I mean, it's.
I think you
it's
gave that
low
one a 9
budge.
or 10.
Yeah, it's definitely low budge. Like you knew that right away from the beginning when they were showing in the title credits, the monkey being flown back and like the plane it's flying on is clearly a toy plane that they just have behind a backdrop. And like yeah, so actually I wonder what the budget on this is. I'll get to that in trivia. Let's actually see what the critics said about this first. IMDb gives it a 7.5 out of 10, and Rotten Tomatoes. Gavin, are you ready?
I'm waiting with bated breath.
It is certified fresh on the tomato meter, 89%.
Goddamn.
With an audience score of 86%. So
Yeah. Sounds about
everyone
right.
definitely agrees. This is a very, very entertaining, good movie. Before I get to trivia, let's just see what the budget on this was, if they have it here. Box office. Gavin, if you had to guess, what do you think the budget on this was? It's estimated.
1992, low budget. I'm going to say between 100 and 150,000.
Ooh, you're way off. It's estimated as a $3 million budget.
Really, 3 million?
Yeah.
Well, they
according
did have
to
a lot of
according to
fucking gore in it.
IMDb. Yeah. It did not do so good at the box office though. Its worldwide gross was $242,623.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I feel like it didn't have a big theater release, and we'll get to it in trivia. Like I know you have some info about it, but here, let's see what we got. The final scene of this film, the gore fest of the mower. 300 liters of fake blood were used in the final scene.
Jesus.
This movie's said to be the bloodiest of all time, measured in amount of film blood used during the production.
I mean, it shows. Like 100% it shows.
It did come in under budget. Apparently, they still had $45,000 left over in New Zealand cash. He
Wait,
said
so
Peter
what is that
Jackson said he used
American?
I have no idea what the exchange rate on that is. Peter Jackson used it to spend 2 days shooting the park scene with Lionel and the baby. He says that was his favorite scene in the movie. It was pretty great.
I mean, it is a cartoon.
Yeah.
It's a living cartoon.
During the lawnmower scene, movie blood was pumped at 5 gallons per second.
Jesus Christ.
That is an insane rate.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's references to King Kong with the Sumatran rat monkey and Skull Island. Oh yeah, Peter Jackson did have a small role in this movie. We did mention that. He played the Undertaker's assistant, very similar to his character from his first movie, Bad Taste. Uncle Creepy got hit in the junk 5 separate times in the final act of the film.
Nice.
And I think that's about it. I know you had mentioned a couple things to me before. Trying to remember what they were.
Just that it was banned in 3 different countries until just recently when they released it.
Oh, this is the other one I want to say. In Sweden, if you went to see this movie or rented it, it came with a supplemental vomit bag.
Which makes sense. That was a promotional thing they used to do, and it still works today, you know?
Yeah. So if you don't believe us by now, just go check out the movie and see just how insanely gory and disgusting it is. So
the word you're looking for, Aaron, was beautiful. How beautiful this is.
As Gavin would say. But before you go check out that movie, go check us out on the social medias. You can find us all over the web on Instagram at MFAB Podcast, TikTok at MFAB_pod, on Facebook, search Movies from A to B or MFAB Podcast. Find us on Podbean, mfabpodcast.podbean.com. That's our hosting site. Has all our backlog episodes as well as links to all our social medias and our email, mfabpodcast@gmail.com, where you can shoot us any comments, questions, recommendations, whatever. Talk shit to us, yell at us for getting shit wrong. Whatever. We love the interaction, so get at us.
Yeah. And while you're interacting with us, why not go to the site you're listening on right now and give us a little 5-star review? Maybe shoot a comment out there, say how we were wrong about this or right about that. We'd love to hear from you, because the whole reason we do this is for you, because we love you. It's what we do. We make stuff for you because we love you. We just want your attention.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's why we do disgusting, gory movies like this. Because we know you listeners would love them. So, any final thoughts on this movie, Gav?
I'm glad I finally got around to making you watch it. It makes me happy.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you liked it. I was kind of thrown off that you rated it so high, but yeah, I'm super glad.
Like I said, I didn't expect that's where my rating would land, but I must say I'm glad it's part of my collection. Like, it's a talking piece for sure, especially when you tell people that Peter Jackson did it. They're like, the Lord of the Rings guy? Shut the fuck up, man.
Yeah, let's watch it. It's just like that.
Yeah, it's just like that, and it's way shorter too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, I think we are going to call this one done. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for listening. As always, I'm Aaron.
And I'm Gavin.
And we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye. Next time on the MFAB Podcast.
Hold on to that chopper.
So until then,
That's a wrap.
good.